David is with us in Houston, Texas. Hi, David. How are you?
I don't know whether to say better than I deserve or focused but not finished. I'm doing pretty well.
That's a pretty good Hogan impersonation there.
David, I'm going to give you an A on that one.
Hey, thanks. Hey, I've got a question for y'all. I'm 30 years old, married. I have 2 kids, 3 and under with 1 on the way. And I am blessed to be debt-free except for a mortgage. We got about $125K left to pay off on that. Kind of the backstory is, I grew up kind of as an FPU kid. My parents did it back in 2006. I read your book, Dave, Total Money Makeover in 2008, and we did FPU as a couple in 2013. But I'm kind of struggling now with baby steps to burnout. We're on baby steps 4, 5, and 6. We purchased our home in 2015 as double income, no kids. And then in 2017, my wife quit after we had our daughter in the middle of Hurricane Harvey, and took a big pay cut there to about $70K. Then I was blessed to have a promotion where I got a 43% pay raise in 2019, so now I'm making about $110K. So my question, I guess, is, with all the things that I've found, the more money I make, the more things I have to pay for, whether that's 529 for the kids, home insurance, life insurance, property tax, etc. So how can I keep my eyes and our eyes on our financial goal without running out of gas during baby steps 4, 5, and 6?
Well, the first thing that comes to mind is baby steps 1 through 3 are gazelle intensity, and 4, 5, and 6 are not. You move from intensity to intentionality on 4, 5, and 6. So 4, 5, and 6 involves a budget for a vacation. It involves a budget for an upgrade in vehicle. It involves a budget for, you're running a marathon here, you're not running a sprint. And so you're not on beans and rice, rice and beans. And you make $110,000, you've done very well in your career. Well done. You're putting 15% of your income away. You don't have any payments but a house payment. You've got an emergency fund in place. You have a very reasonable house mortgage. And you got some kids and you're funding a 529. But you're slowing into a rhythm run now. You're not doing speed training. It's a marathon. And I think you're still trying to run the emotions at least, if not maybe even trying to crank the math down, as if you were still on gazelle intensity. That'll burn you up. You can't do that.
Yeah, and David, you're also at that stage of life where you've got all of these young kids. You got another one coming, so you're feeling the pressure and the strain.
I'm never gonna get out.
Yeah, along with
working from home.
Along with lack of sleep. Are you working from home too?
Yes, sir.
Oh yeah, man. So let's be honest. The mindset on the financial side, as Dave said, it's a mindset. It's the intentionality factor. But what you're feeling is the stress and strain from the other things of life. And I want to tell you, as a former master isolator, because I was perfect at it, I thought, you don't want to do life alone. And so you want to get some good guys around you. You want to have a connection and a relationship to talk about the stressors and strains of the kids, of the pressure. It's one of those things where we're not meant to do life alone, so you need some community.
Yeah, and it's the stage you're in.
Oh, yes.
I mean, you've got, there's not a lot of traction mathematically with where you are in these baby steps. And the kids just keep piling up here. And you're just like, oh, stuck.
And he doesn't get to leave. He's working from home.
Yeah, there's a lot.
You got a lot.
You're I think just saying all that out loud helps with the idea of burnout. That a normal human being in your situation would be stressed.
Yes.
So if you are stressed, you are a normal human being.
You are normal. Absolutely.
You are not a psychopath.
No. And if you were just clueless, then I would tell you I'd worry about your mental health. You are feeling exactly where you are right now in this season, brother.
Yeah, we get you out of the house and working. Yeah. That'll be helpful.
It will.
And we get the baby here, the last one. That'll be good. That'll be helpful.
Yes.
And you get into, but you're not going to see one of the frustrations that we've watched people experience, and I guess we've all experienced that have walked these baby steps, is that you see such huge chunks of traction in the first 3.
Yeah.
And then when you go to 4, 5, and 6, it just slows down.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's the long haul. This is a 5, 7 year, 10-year slog.
That's just a thought.
And that's why we budget in there for the upgrades and some of the other things as you go along. You budget
Right.
for this or that. And,
right.
if you need to back off on a 529 just a little bit in order to
Breathe.
have a fund
Yes.
a little bit while
Back
you're here,
off.
this is the time that it's appropriate to do that. I just want you doing it on purpose,
Yeah.
and I don't want you to fall into debt
Right.
because you take your eyes completely off the ball.
Yeah.
So you go from intensity to intentional,
Yeah.
and that's where we want to be.
And David, just like the seasons of the weather, this season too will change, my
Yeah.
friend.
Yeah.
It really will. Just hang in there with your wife. Make sure you guys' relationship is connected. Get some coaching if you need to, or some counseling if you need to. But get some good guys around you so you can do life with them, because you got other fellas that are feeling this same thing.
It's weird. It feels like it's yesterday in some ways, and in some ways it feels like it was 100 years ago. But the year Rachel was born, we filed bankruptcy. We had no money. That's why you file bankruptcy. And I got a toddler, a marriage hanging on by a thread. I'm working from home, and I'm broke. I got no money. And, Sharon was, to say the least, overwhelmed. She wanted me away. She didn't even want to look at me to start with right then. It's pretty disgusted. Valid. But, we went through a similar season, but much worse.
Yeah.
In the sense of there was not money for the electric bill, and there was not money. We didn't go hungry literally, but we were broke. We had no money, and I had to go make money every week in order to just pull things together. And I got little babies. My self-esteem is destroyed. My marriage is on the rocks. That was a tough season, and so it feels like when I talk about it, it comes up in my throat, and I remember it like it was yesterday. But it was 30 years ago. So in that sense, David, you're in a similar type thing, but much better. And I'm not saying yours is that your feelings aren't valid. They are valid.
Right.
But you're just that young kid stage of life. They suck the marrow out of your bones.
Yes.
Emotionally, that's what they're so
They're
needy.
just takers.
And,
They just
and we love them. They're cute as they can be, but that's why when I have all the grandbabies over, that's how I send them back home. That's why I send them back home, because I love them, but they need to go home.
They have to go home.
And it's just that they when you're 6 months old and you can't do anything for yourself, all you are is a taker, man. We love you. You're cute as a button, and Papa Dave's gonna bounce you on my knee, but they do. They pull the energy out of and the math out of everything, and so it is valid to feel that. It's not really a burnout. It's more of I'm not getting traction.
Yeah, fatigue.
It's a fatigue.
It is a fatigue.
Yeah, it's a
mental. Really
it's a math fatigue, an emotional fatigue, a spiritual fatigue.
It really is.
A relational fatigue.
Yep.
And just own that and say that's real. Get some guys of young families around you, like Chris suggested.
Yeah.
Form you a group of guys. Get out of the house.
Yes. Go to the store and just walk around.
Go in the backyard and hit a tree with a stick. I don't know. Do something, man. That's
Get out of that house.
Yeah.
Let your wife get out of the house too.
Yeah,
Take turns. Take turns.
Yeah, for God's sakes. Yeah, budget for a babysitter. That's a good thing. Yeah, I'm with you, brother. That's what we're saying. But you'll get through it, and you can still hit your baby steps.
Yes, you can.
Just don't let this cause you to fall off the horse.